Scripts and monologues was something I left behind when I left the church. They always made a big deal out of my gifts, said that God gave it to me, said they couldn't wait to see how I'd use it for His glory and His church and ministry as part of my calling. But I never wanted that life. I never saw myself as a preacher's wife sitting quietly in the front row with perfect posture and forced smiles. I saw what happened to women like that. I watched them pour their minds and their bodies and their sanity into a system that only wanted them silent, seen but not heard. They gave me a Bible young and I read it. Not just the verses printed on t-shirts and bumper stickers. I read the whole thing. I studied it. I comprehended it. Maybe more than they expected. Maybe more than they wanted. Because I didn't just close it after Sunday service like I was supposed to. I didn't treat it like a prop for performance. I dove in. I memorized scripture. I joined every skit, every church competition, doing everything I could to make them proud, to make God proud, or so I thought. But the older I got, the more I realized you never really read it, did you? Not with your heart, not with understanding. You memorized just enough to justify what you already believed. Because if you really read it, you wouldn't stand behind the things you do now. You wouldn't cheer for men who rip children from their mothers. You wouldn't call yourself a Christian while supporting policies that destroy the very people Jesus told you to care for. Let's talk about mass deportation. You sit comfortably in your air-conditioned homes while families are dragged from theirs, sometimes in the middle of the night. Mothers yanked from grocery store parking lots, children picked up outside their schools in uniforms with backpacks on their way to volleyball practice. People who've lived here for decades, who've paid taxes, built homes, started businesses, neighbors, friends, gone because of a name on a list and a man in a suit who said they don't belong. And you justify it. Say they should have come the right way, but you wouldn't last a day trying to pass this test that takes to become a citizen here. You quote law and order while ignoring compassion. You chant America first, but forget that Jesus said the last shall be first. You claim they're criminals, but their only crime is seeking the same safety that your ancestors did when they got off boats and stole this land from all people who already called it home. Tell me again about Christian values. Tell me how this aligns with the man who said, I was a stranger and you took me in. Inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, you have done it unto me. Because what I see now is that you're not following Christ, you're following comfort. You're following power. You're following fear wrapped in a flag and dipped in whiteness. Jesus wasn't white. His feet were dusty, his clothes were stained, and the message you send says he wouldn't even be welcome in your church because he might make someone uncomfortable, because he wouldn't look the part, because he wouldn't vote red, and yet you claim his name. You wear your cross like a badge, but 1 Corinthians 13 says, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I become as a sounding brass. You hear that? That hollow echo? That's your faith without love. Charity suffers long and is kind. It envies not. It is not puffed up. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things. And the greatest of these is love. But what you support, that's not love. That's nationalism dressed in Christian cosplay. That's cruelty handed a pulpit and called the truth. You're building a nation on everything Jesus came to tear down. Walls instead of bridges, exclusion instead of compassion, control instead of care, and still you lay your head down each night and call yourself righteous. You sleep in ignorance because it's easier, because it's comfortable, but comfort has a cost, and whether you see it or not, it's leaving a stain. You can still choose the right side of history. You can still open that Bible for real this time. You can still become the neighbor you were taught to love, but if not, don't call it Christ, don't call it charity, don't call it faith, because Jesus never taught what you're preaching.